What's good? We about to tap into another video. A bombshell whistleblower claims to expose fake Secret Service. Let's tap in.
All right, some interesting developments today. Kimberly Cheadle, the head of the U.S. Secret Service, did participate in a virtual briefing today. Senator Josh Hawley was one of the principal participants in that. Homeland Security Committee, Republican senator from Missouri. Senator, very good to have you.
Thank you.
How did it go?
But badly. I mean, let's be honest, the Secret Service is out there and the FBI now doing these secret calls, these behind-the-scenes briefings where, by the way, they don't really answer questions. They strictly limited the number of questions. The Secret Service director herself did not actually brief. She was present on the call but didn't do hardly any briefing. When she did try to answer a question or two, it did not go well. She was not well prepared. This needs to be done in public. Bottom line, we need public hearings. We need a full and thorough investigation. You know, what we know about this is that there were 62 minutes, 62, between the time that the Secret Service identified the shooter as a person of interest, somebody acting suspiciously, and the time he started firing shots at the president. I mean, what in the world is going on? We've got to find out.
I missed, of course, that briefing was yesterday. There are going to be many more to come. You want to hold the authorities accountable and find out what was behind their thinking. But to your point, Senator, she has indicated she's not stepping down. She intends to stay there, and unless the president and/or Alejandro Mayorkas, her boss at Homeland Security.
Imagine you trying to shoot Trump and then you get killed. I mean, it's not funny, but imagine you get killed for trying to kill this man and then bleed his ear, and you didn't even get your job finished. You know what I mean? You just made yourself look goofy at that point. Like, you try to actually kill the man and you busted the man's eardrum. That's crazy. It's crazy. People in this world make no sense, man.
Security pushes her out. She's there, right?
Yeah, then nobody, here's the pattern, Neil. Nobody in this administration is ever responsible, ever takes any responsibility for anything. Look at Afghanistan, 13 service members dead, hundreds if not thousands of civilians left behind to the enemy. And what did Joe Biden do? Nothing. Who was fired? Nobody. Now we've got a former president nearly assassinated. We have a good American shot to death at this rally, others in critical condition, and no one will take any responsibility. I mean, these people ought to be gone. Absolutely, the director ought to be gone. The whole top echelon ought to be gone. But I tell you what, we're going to get to the bottom of this and figure out what these people were doing. How did they allow this to happen? Why did they allow a good American to be killed? Why did they allow Trump to go on stage knowing they had a potential shooter? It's outrageous.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about some bombshell information that could give us more insight on why and how the failed Trump assassination attempt was allowed to happen, okay? Because that, in my opinion, is what's going on here. It was allowed to happen either because of extreme negligence or because of intent. I don't know yet. However, I think it's worth an investigation. I'm talking about an investigation outside of the FBI because I don't trust the FBI to give us the truth about what happened that day, okay? We need an...
It might been a setup. It might been a backdoor situation. It might been a real setup. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Because sometimes these people don't even do their job. You know what I mean? They there to protect the man, and clearly they didn't really protect him because he got shot in the ear. You know what I mean? That whole situation is just a whole mess in itself. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Independent investigation that can really shed light on why this was allowed to happen. And we have some information from Senator Josh Hawley, who is one of my favorite senators, by the way. I am very, very, very sad over the fact that because of the whole fist thing on January 6th, he probably won't be running for president anytime soon. But if Trump would have picked Josh Hawley as his vice president, I would be extremely excited. Probably just as excited as I would be about a Trump Vivek Ramaswamy ticket. Josh Hawley is probably my favorite senator, no doubt. So he has done some good work because Secret Service agents, whistleblowers, have come out and basically stated that, hey, these people that were assigned to protect Trump weren't even Secret Service. So again, this could explain why we saw imagery like this that kind of shocked the country in regards to the people protecting the former president of the United States.
You love me, Trump?
Yeah, so that type of footage is embarrassing, right? It really is embarrassing for the Secret Service, and this has led to call.
It's really embarrassing. It's really pathetic. It's all underlined, man. It really is. It's like the pathetic, because you really didn't even protect the man for real, you know what I mean? Pretty much the man could have got shot in the head, and that would have been lights out. Lights out, like for real. Like, that's crazy.
For the director of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, to resign or be fired. Now, again, I'm not entirely sure why she hasn't been fired yet, because, again, this is supposed to be a zero-fail mission, and there's no doubt in my mind if this was allowed to happen to Joe Biden, she definitely would be fired. But because it happened to Trump, she's not facing consequences. And it seems as if, in my opinion, the longer that she stays in the job, that kind of leads more in the direction of, well, is there some intentionality here? Because if it wasn't intentional, then there was some serious neglect that is worthy of somebody being fired. Her not being fired speaks volumes about what could possibly be down a rabbit hole in regards to what actually happened here, okay? Again, we have whistleblowers inside the Department of Homeland Security have alleged that the majority of security detail for former President Donald Trump were not even Secret Service, according to a Republican lawmaker. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri relayed these claims in a public letter to Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas on Friday, outlining a series of security failures at Trump's faithful Butler, Pennsylvania rally. Quote, whistleblowers who have direct knowledge of the event have approached my office. According to the allegations, the July 13 rally was considered to be a loose security event, Hawley wrote in the letter. Again, that should never happen. There should never be an event involving the President of the United States, especially a rally, okay, outside. Yeah, that should never be considered a loose security event. Like, that's preposterous. For example, detection canines were not used to monitor entry and detect threats in the usual manner. Individuals without proper designations were able to gain access to backstage areas. Other lapses in security protocol allegedly included a lack of personnel stationed around the security perimeter and an inadequately enforced buffer zone around the podium. Among the most troubling is the claim that the majority of personnel protecting the former president were not U.S. Secret Service agents. Quote, whistleblower allegations suggest the majority of DHS officials were not, in fact, U.S. Secret Service agents, but instead drawn from the Department of Homeland Security's investigations. Hawley wrote, this is especially concerning given the HSI agents were unfamiliar with standard protocols typically used at these types of events, according to the allegations. Okay, so that would explain, again, why this was allowed to happen. Okay, so if you're using security personnel who are not trained, who don't understand the protocols that are typically taken when you're having an event involving the former president of the United States, and you're using them, then that could explain the obvious negligence that took place, okay? I mean, they let an amateur who was spotted, according to some accounts, an hour before Trump took the stage, they just allowed this dude to run around with a rangefinder, get a ladder, climb on top of the roof, get his weapon. Apparently, law enforcement confronted the guy before he was able to take a shot at Trump, but decided to, I don't know, run away or not really try to engage. Yeah, I mean, if you're giving the president the JV team, and it doesn't even sound like this is a JV team, to be quite honest with you, this sounds like this is worse than the JV team. If you're giving Trump, you know,
it sounded like the freshman team. It sounded like the rookies, the rookie team. They didn't even have a clue how to protect the man. They didn't even know how to, you know. I'm pretty sure you put a piece of paper over their head, they won't even know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like it was clueless. Like they didn't even know how to do their job. Like you had to stand there and protect the man. Like you know what I mean? It's like literally you couldn't even do that. Like that's crazy. Like the man could have got assassinated, lost his whole life, and then you know what I mean. But that's crazy, man. Can't believe it, man.
the D team, then yeah, that could explain why that happened. Now the question has to be, who made this call? And whoever made the call to give the former president the JV team should be fired because clearly it was the wrong call. Okay?
The freshman team.
Again, if this is true, that a vast majority of the people protecting the president weren't Secret Service, again, that could explain why it seems like they did a slop job when it comes to protecting the former president. And again, whoever made that call needs to be fired. In fact, again, the people at the top should be fired. Alejandro Mayorkas should be fired, and Kim Cheadle should be fired. Again, if Democrats want unity, this is what they claim, well, again, a good step would be firing these individuals, okay? That would be a good step. The Missouri senator criticized the DHS for failing to provide information about the incident to Congress and abruptly ending the only call with U.S. Secret Service before most senators could even ask a question. Well, they don't want any questions, okay? They don't believe they should be held accountable, okay? This is what they believe. Senator Ron Johnson previously detailed the Secret Service briefing given to senators on Wednesday about the recent assassination attempt against former President Trump, saying there had been virtually no information provided. Quote, the director of the Secret Service did admit there were mistakes and gaffes, Johnson said, referring to Kimberly Cheadle. But the briefing, which was given by a separate official, was largely irrelevant. According to Johnson, only 4 senators were allowed to ask questions, and there were no follow-ups, he said. Hawley's letter demands answers to a series of questions relevant to the claims made by the whistleblowers, including the ratio of U.S. Secret Service agents to HSI agents and pre-rally security investigations. Yeah, we definitely need more answers on this, okay? Because this is unacceptable, right? This is insane. The rabbit hole continues to get deeper and deeper. Now, again, the question really is, who made this call and why did they make this call, right? Would they give Biden this team, right? Because if you're going to do diversity, equity, and inclusion,
man, they will have Biden safe and all type of junk. And he ain't even do nothing for this country, for real. You know what I mean? Everything went up. The inflation went up because of Biden. Biden barely could walk. You know what I mean? He can't even wipe his own ass. If we being real right now, if we being completely real, like, let's keep it 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like Biden ain't do nothing, man. Like, they would have protected Biden like he was like the next big thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he not even close to it. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
okay, well, do that to Biden, right? Give Biden all the women, okay? If that's how you really feel, okay? You think they're equally qualified? Give them to Biden. But you don't need to be running these types of experiments with Trump. But again, this is what they're doing. Honestly, I'm surprised that Trump even trusts Secret Service to protect him, considering who's running the White House. I'm surprised he didn't have his own security just to try to double and triple check the Secret Service to make sure everything was being done properly. Because you definitely can't trust these individuals that are weaponizing the government against you. So who knows? I mean, the rabbit hole can be so deep that they purposely may have given Trump the JV team for security, knowing that there were these types of threats out there, okay? Like, I mean, allegedly, Iran was plotting to assassinate President Trump, or they're currently doing that. So if you know that, why are you giving the president the JV team? It's inexplicable, right? It makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah, man, it makes no sense, man. I don't know, man. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. I mean, they didn't really want to do their job. You know what I mean? They didn't really care about the man. You know what I mean? The man, they could have left the man dead.